Plastic is everywhere. It wraps our food, lines our drinking bottles, forms parts of our phones and computers, carries our groceries, and even coats the insides of our takeout coffee cups. We wake up with it, eat with it, travel with it, work with it, and go to bed surrounded by it. In the modern world, plastic is so omnipresent that imagining life without it feels almost impossible. It's a material that promised convenience, durability, and low cost, and it delivered. But it also brought with it a host of unintended consequences, many of which are only now becoming clear. As our oceans choke on plastic waste and scientists discover microplastics in our bloodstreams, an urgent question confronts humanity. Why can't we quit plastic? How is it harming our health? And what can we possibly use instead? Plastic's rise to dominance was meteoric. In the early 20th century, inventors began experimenting with synthetic polymers, creating materials that could mimic natural substances like ivory, silk, or rubber. By the mid-century, plastic was hailed as a miracle material. It was light, strong, moldable, and cheap to produce. During World War II, it played a crucial role in everything from parachutes to airplane parts. After the war, industries repurposed their plastic expertise for consumer goods. Suddenly, plastic was in toys, Tupperware, packaging, furniture, and fashion. Consumption exploded. Today, we produce more than 400 million tons of plastic annually, and more than half of that is for single-use products, designed to be thrown away, not reused. The reason we can't quit plastic so easily is because it works too well. It's incredibly versatile. It can be rigid or flexible, transparent or opaque, heat-resistant or designed to melt. It's waterproof, chemically inert, and can be manufactured to exact specifications. This flexibility makes it indispensable in medicine, electronics, automotive design, aerospace, agriculture, and food packaging. Plastic keeps medical devices sterile. It preserves food, reducing waste. It makes cars lighter, improving fuel efficiency. It insulates homes, lowering energy use. In many ways, plastic has enabled the growth of the global middle class, the digital revolution, and advances in healthcare. Yet the very qualities that make plastic so useful are what make it so dangerous. It doesn't break down. Plastic may fragment into smaller pieces, but it doesn't disappear. A plastic bottle tossed on the side of a road can remain in the environment for centuries. Over time, it breaks into microplastics, tiny particles less than 5 millimeters across, and even smaller nanoplastics. These particles end up in soil, rivers, oceans, and ultimately in the food chain. Scientists have found microplastics in fish, salt, drinking water, and even the air we breathe. No environment on Earth is untouched, from the deepest ocean trenches to Arctic ice. The health implications are alarming. While research is still emerging, what we know so far is deeply concerning. Microplastics can absorb and concentrate toxic chemicals like pesticides and heavy metals. When ingested by animals or humans, these chemicals can interfere with hormones, damage organs, and increase the risk of cancers. Plastic additives like BPA, bisphenol A, and phthalates are known endocrine disruptors. They can mimic hormones in the body, potentially leading to developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects. BPA, for instance, has been linked to obesity, diabetes, and breast cancer. While many manufacturers now offer BPA-free products, substitutes may carry similar risks. We've only scratched the surface of understanding how chronic, low-level exposure to plastic is affecting human health. Recent studies have found microplastics in human blood, lungs, and placental tissue. This means plastic is not just around us, it's inside us. Researchers worry that these particles could trigger inflammation, oxidative stress, and other immune responses. Over time, this could contribute to chronic disease. The effects on children and unborn babies may be even more profound. As plastic breaks down into nano-sized particles, it could potentially penetrate cell walls, disrupting biological processes in ways we're only beginning to explore. We may be facing a silent epidemic caused by a material we once thought of as harmless. Quitting plastic is not easy because it's entrenched in every aspect of modern life. Alternatives exist, but scaling them to meet global demand poses enormous challenges. Paper, for instance, can replace plastic in some packaging applications, but paper production requires vast amounts of water and energy and contributes to deforestation if not managed sustainably. Glass is reusable and recyclable but heavier to transport, increasing emissions. Metal containers are durable but more expensive to produce. Natural materials like bamboo, hemp, or seaweed offer promise, but lack the industrial infrastructure for mass production. Bioplastics made from cornstarch, sugarcane, or other plant materials are often touted as eco-friendly solutions. But not all bioplastics are biodegradable. Some behave just like conventional plastics unless exposed to high-temperature industrial composting. Others compete with food crops for land and water. Moreover, labeling something as compostable can mislead consumers into thinking it will break down in any environment, when in fact it may require very specific conditions. Without proper waste management systems, even biodegradable plastics can end up in landfills releasing methane, a potent greenhouse gas, as they decompose. Recycling, once hailed as the answer to plastic waste, has largely failed to deliver. Globally, only about 9% of plastic ever produced has been recycled. Most ends up in landfills, is incinerated, or leaks into the environment. Part of the problem is economic. Recycling plastic is often more expensive than making new plastic from fossil fuels. Another issue is contamination. Different types of plastic must be separated, cleaned, and processed correctly. A single dirty container can ruin an entire batch. The result is a recycling system that's inefficient, underfunded, and overwhelmed. So why haven't we just banned plastic altogether? The truth is, for all its downsides, plastic plays a critical role in public health and economic development. In many low-income countries, plastic packaging extends the shelf life of food, helping prevent hunger. In hospitals, disposable plastic equipment reduces infection. In rural areas, plastic water tanks provide clean drinking water. A sudden blanket ban on plastic could create unintended harm, hurting the very communities we seek to protect. That's why any strategy to reduce plastic use must be nuanced, just, and globally coordinated. Policy plays a vital role. Bans on single-use plastics, like straws, bags, and cutlery, are gaining momentum around the world. Extended producer responsibility laws hold companies accountable for the entire life cycle of their products. Some governments have introduced taxes on virgin plastic to encourage recycling and the use of alternative materials. Others are investing in circular economy models where products are designed to be reused, repaired, or recycled from the start. But legislation alone isn't enough. Behavioral change is just as important. Consumers must demand better products, make informed choices, and hold companies accountable. The private sector is responding, albeit slowly. Some major corporations have pledged to reduce plastic use, redesign packaging, and support recycling initiatives. Innovation is happening, from edible packaging made of seaweed to self-destructing plastic alternatives that degrade safely in the environment. Startups are experimenting with mushroom-based materials, algae bioplastics, and even packaging grown in labs. The challenge is not innovation, but scale, cost, and adoption. Without incentives and pressure, most companies will continue using the cheapest, most convenient option, traditional plastic. Education is a key part of the solution. Understanding where plastic comes from, how it's used, and where it ends up can empower consumers to make better choices. Schools, media, influencers, and public campaigns must work together to demystify the issue. We must teach people not just to recycle, but to rethink consumption altogether. Do we need that extra straw? That double-wrapped fruit? That impulse buy wrapped in layers of plastic? Reducing plastic starts with reducing demand. Community-level solutions are also powerful. Refill stations, zero-waste shops, and plastic-free markets are popping up in cities around the world. People are organizing beach cleanups, lobbying for local bans, and creating innovative alternatives in their own kitchens and garages. Social pressure can be a catalyst for change. When enough people demand a shift, systems respond. Grassroots activism combined with policy and innovation forms a three-pronged approach to a complex problem. Ultimately, quitting plastic isn't just about swapping materials. It's about rethinking the throwaway culture that created the crisis in the first place. For decades, convenience has been the driving force of consumerism, but the planet and our health are paying the price. We need to shift from a linear economy to a circular one, from use and dispose to reuse and renew, from short-term convenience to long-term responsibility. Plastic will not disappear overnight, but our dependency on it can. By investing in alternatives, demanding systemic change, and reimagining our relationship with materials, we can begin to untangle ourselves from the plastic web. We can protect our oceans, safeguard our health, and build a world that values sustainability over short-term gain. The plastic crisis is a human-made problem. That means it's a human-solvable one, but only if we act boldly, collectively, and urgently before it's too late.